It's Monday, January 30. In the headlines, no reprieve for motorists with outstanding traffic tickets. Caramed Group recruiting 60% of workforce for new distribution center. Regionally, Belize addresses climate change through new campaign. Internationally, Israel is being accused of collective punishment against Palestinians. And in sports, WADA boss gives high marks to Jadko. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Upper House passed the Road Traffic Reprieve and Nullification of Prescribed Notices Act 2023 on Friday. Motorists with outstanding traffic tickets since February 1, 2018 have only a couple of hours of legal protection from prosecution, as the reprieve bill, not yet enacted up to Friday, is set to expire on Tuesday, January 31. Despite requests for an extension on the latest traffic ticket amnesty, the government has argued that delinquents have had sufficient time since February 2018 to make good on their traffic tickets and would therefore not be afforded more time to pay.
Mr. President, we're unable to accept that amendment for the reasons explained earlier. The technical system is set to start on February 1, and the domino house, or the house of cards, that would then fall were we to make any changes there. Furthermore, it is a matter of policy, and the Minister of Transport has been quite clear that the reprieve period should end on the date provided.
The traffic court has been inundated in recent weeks with thousands of persons rushing to pay.
Constrained by the capacity of the court, expanded, as I explained earlier, by the addition of staff and the addition of court hours by holding night court Monday to 5 days a week. Night court has been running 5 days a week since December 5th.
The bill gives persons a period of reprieve to address outstanding matters for the motoring public in respect of notices issued prior to February 1, 2023 under Section 116 of the old Road Traffic Act. Outstanding tickets issued prior to February 1, 2018 and demerit points accrued up to February 1 will be null and void and not carried over to the new law, which will come into effect on February 1.
As I see some people interpreting online that if you have paid an outstanding ticket into court, you will get your demerit points removed, but if you have paid online, you won't. Clause 5 is quite clear that notwithstanding 59B, which is the demerit point clause, and 59A, by operation of Clause 5 in its entirety, everyone who has had a ticket within that reprieve period of February 1, 2018 to January 31, 2023, and has paid within that period of time will have their demerit points removed. So that is clear. The persons who have played by the rules will not be shafted vis-a-vis the others. All demerit points will be removed under Clause 5.
The Caramed Group has committed to recruiting residents of Bernard Lodge in St. Catherine to fill 60% of the workforce required for the entity's new state-of-the-art warehouse distribution center situated in the community. Prime Minister Andrew Holness officially opened Phase 1 of the 258,000 square feet facility during a ceremony on the weekend. The facility, which was constructed at a cost of over $6 billion Jamaican dollars, will consolidate all of the group's warehousing activities and the administrative offices for the Consumer Goods Division. We have the story from Maya Chung.
Prime Minister Holness, who delivered the keynote address, welcomed Caramed's announcement. The PM said the move is strategic and noted that due to other entities that have relocated to this area, the country is creating an industrial cluster in the parish. He said it is a clear indication of the confidence that the principals of the company have in the direction of the economy and the government. Mr. Holness indicated that Jamaica is on a growth path with the country's net international reserves now at $3.98 billion, which is 27% higher than the pre-COVID period. The Prime Minister updated his audience that the economy grew by 5.9% in the third quarter of the 2022-2023 financial year. Citing it as significant as the country is now returning to growth immediately after the COVID pandemic, he said Jamaica will now have recorded 6 consecutive quarters of growth. Meanwhile, CariMed Group Chairman Glenn Christian, in his remarks, indicated that the company will continue to develop a larger portfolio of over-the-counter OTC products. Mr. Christian disclosed that the group has provided over 1,000 jobs for 800 employees on staff, as well as several contractors. He said the new distribution center was projected to be occupied by November 2020, but this was delayed by the pandemic. Construction of Phase 2 will begin in April. For PBCJ News, I am Maya Chung.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Ms. Sansia Bennett-Templer, is advising the Jamaican citizens that the Ministry of Investment, Industry and Commerce is focused on being the best in class of the government ministries charged with making Jamaica the place to live, raise families, work and do business by 2030. She made her remarks at a recent rebranding exercise of the ministry in Kingston on January 18 at the AC Hotel in Kingston. Mrs. Sansia Bennett-Templer spoke to the heightened focus of her ministry to educate the nation's business people of the importance and need for all to get ISO 9001 certification for business growth and development. The Permanent Secretary says that an aggressive charge is being led by Industry Minister Auburn Hill in this area in order that the country may grow faster and more aggressively in the areas of industry, investment and commerce in the following ways: moving to be level on the playing field with bigger enterprises, opening up export markets for Jamaican products and services, as well as giving Jamaican business people brand name respect and recognition internationally, among other things.
As we unveil the new brand identity for Jamaica's business ministry, we also celebrate and applaud the 7 MIIC portfolio entities that have received ISO certification, 7 so far and more to come. The ministry is proud of this accomplishment. We are also especially proud as we have ourselves received our ISO certification as a ministry, leading by example as the ministry charged with responsibility to implement ISO certification in the public sector. Today, we celebrate our commitment to excellence, to continuously raising the bar, and to enhancing our standards for the benefit of Jamaica.
Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Auburn Hill, is currently on an investment-seeking mission in Guyana with a contingent of Jamaican business owners and stakeholders in this sector, with an agenda to push business bond between the two countries. Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Auburn Hill, has high praises for the BPO sector, which falls under the Jamaica Special Economic Zone. He's also urging the support and recognition of the sector by all Jamaicans and stakeholders as the government continues to push the progress and development of the sector to shore up and increase its build-out as it formulates a significant part of the economic strength that the government of Jamaica is seeking. Speaking at a recent rebranding exercise of his ministry recently, Minister Hill says at the end of 2019, the sector had 43,000 employees, which moved to 60,000 jobs since 2023. He says this shows that even during the COVID-19 period, job creation did not slow in the nation because of the sector's presence. Calling for, quote, local direct investments, end quote, Minister Hill says he is looking for Jamaican consortiums to take on the BPO opportunities.
You go work at BPO? Oh yeah? Take another look. That's a place we're going because we're training people to do that. But the Jamaica Special Economic Zone has to step in. We have 650 acres of land right next to the port in Caymanas. Danny Shirley knows it. It's UDC land. We're looking to develop the Special Economic Zone. It will take $200 million. Yes, we're looking to foreigners, but I want to see a Jamaican consortium or Jamaica business firm put that money together, become the master developer. All the rent that you get will be tax-free for a negotiated period of time, a long period of time. You get a 50-year lease, renewable. All the money that is not rent-related, you invest in shares and land, you would have to pay 12.5% on that. This opportunity won't come again.
The Jamaica Business Development Corporation, JBDC, in partnership with Tax Administration Jamaica, is hosting a virtual workshop dubbed Tax Talk 2023. Owners and operators of registered businesses are being invited to participate in the two-day event set to begin on Tuesday, January 31. Assistant Manager for Business Advisory Services at JBDC, Kira Walters, says day one of the workshop will focus on getting entrepreneurs ready to file their tax returns. On day two, the participants will be taken through the process of filing tax returns online as is stipulated by the TAJ. Interested persons are being asked to send an email to workshops@jbdc.net on or before January 30 to register. Time now for the Business Report with Danita Rodney.
Speaking at the Jamaica Stock Exchange 18th Regional Investments and Capital Market Conference last week, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark said that securities dealers have nothing to fear from the Bank of Jamaica as human regulatory oversight over the capital markets. Dr. Clark, in response to securities dealers saying that they were fearful that their ability to create innovative products for the capital markets will be stifled, said, quote, "We need seamless real-time consolidated supervision, not the supervision where you get together in 3 weeks and you find out something is wrong," end quote. Now for your market updates. In foreign exchange trading for Friday, January 27, the US dollar sold for an average of $154.61. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $115.75. The pound sterling traded for $193.16 and the euro sold for $170.37. In GSE trading, the GSE index advanced by 1,967 points. The junior market index advanced by 53 points. The combined market index advanced by 2,334 points. And the All Jamaican Composite Index advanced by 1,622 points. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 103 stocks, of which 47 advanced, 35 declined, and 21 traded firm. Stocks advanced for Access Financial Services Limited, Cargo Handlers Limited, and Caribbean Cement Company Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, Barita Investments Limited, and CAC 2000 Limited. Trading firm were 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited Verbal Preference, Blue Power Group Limited, and CAC 2000 9.5% Cumulative Redeemable Preference Shares. The overall volume leaders were Wigton Wind Farm Limited Ordinary Shares with over 3 million units, Image Plus Consultants Limited, and Panjam Investments Limited with over 2 million units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, Calypso Macro Index Fund was the only active security posting a volume of 112 shares. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, First Caribbean International Bank was the sole security trading 2,000 shares. In regional business, while Barbados has been able to make significant gains in tourism in spite of the devastation to the industry by the COVID-19 pandemic, a leading economist believes the country should continue efforts to diversify the economy.
The destination is a popular one. Just by way of comparison, Singapore has a tourism sector that is multiple times, almost 20 times the size of Barbados, but the tourism sector in Singapore only contributes 3% to exports. So you can have a robust tourism sector, but you're right, the country needs to diversify its exports. And the reason why the country needs to diversify its exports is because tourism can be fickle. It is very responsive to all types of shocks.
In international business, British Finance Minister Jeremy Hunt on Friday promised to tackle the country's weak productivity with post-Brexit reforms to boost growth.
But another Conservative insight is that risk-taking by individuals and businesses can only happen when governments provide economic and financial stability. So the best tax cut right now is a cut in inflation. And the plan I set out in the autumn statement tackles that root cause of instability in the British economy. Real incomes haven't risen by as much as they could as a result. Confidence in the future, though, starts with honesty about the present. So we want to be one of the most prosperous countries in Europe. And today I want to set out our plan to address those issues. That plan, our plan for growth, is necessitated, energised and made possible by Brexit. The desire to move to a high-wage, high-skill economy is one that's shared on all sides of that debate. And we need to make Brexit a catalyst for the bold choices that will take advantage of the nimbleness and flexibilities that it makes possible.
In market data for oil prices slipped as looming increases to interest rates by major central banks and signs of strong Russian exports offset rising Middle East tension. Brent crude fell 27 cents to $86.39 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude dropped 30 cents to $79.38. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, in Belize, the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center has launched a campaign for students on climate change and how it impacts health. The campaign aims to capture their attention on the most important issue and how it will impact future generations if decisive action is not taken immediately to slow down those effects.
It is believed that humans produced over 33 billion tons of carbon emissions from fossil fuel usage in 2021. Reversing that staggering amount of greenhouse gases is what climate change activists are emphasizing if future generations are to survive the deadly toll that climate change effects can have on human life. Spearheading this 5-year campaign is the 5 C's Caribbean Community Climate Change Center. Keith Nichols heads that center.
We are seeing the impacts of climate change on health over the years, but we feel it's necessary for the youth to get involved. They are our future. They're the ones who will be suffering the impacts of our actions today, and it is absolutely necessary that we can engage them so one, they can start thinking of the consequences on their own future, their role in helping to influence the transformation towards a better living for themselves.
Since the campaign targets students from ages 9 to 30, the appeal to those categories will have to vary. Sadie Goddett is a lecturer at Galen University. She shared that the campaign has to have appeal to each category of students if it is to be successful.
You tend to learn better when you do the research, and then you apply that knowledge creatively. So to catch the children, the younger group, you use more creativity. And for the older group now, you would then go into storytelling, which they're also doing, again, poetry competition and a letter to your leader, which gives them an opportunity to speak on their issues. If they understand the impacts of how cities grow and how pollution can happen as a result of that, then they have a better grasp at how important and how vital attacking.
As the ties between Trinidad and Tobago and the People's Republic of China continue to be both economically and culturally strong, the Twin Islands celebrated its first Chinese Spring Festival. Terry Ann Brown Campbell reports.
According to Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Dr. Amory Brown, Chinese culture has become an integral part of our local culture.
It is with great pleasure that I herald the exchanges between TNT and China that are ongoing. Our engagement with the Belt and Road Initiative, the Phoenix Park Industrial Project, the Forensic Science Center to be constructed, or cooperation in the multilateral space, which is as strong today as it has ever been before.
China's ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago, Fang Chiu, said the event was the first Chinese Spring Festival to be celebrated in this country.
This year is also of great importance to China-Trinidad and Tobago relations, as it marked the 10th anniversary of President Xi Jinping's historic visit to this beautiful island country. Over the past decade, our bilateral relations have yielded fruitful outcomes. In the year 2022, the bilateral trade volume exceeded $1.3 billion.
He noted this represents growth of 23.4% over the previous year. The Spring Festival was celebrated with dragon boat rides, face painting and other events in Chagaramas on Sunday. Terry Ann Brown Campbell, TTT News.
With the forthcoming Wales Gas-to-Energy project promising to slash energy costs in Guyana by half, President Dr. Ifraan Ali told regional investors last week that Guyana can be the new destination for manufacturing companies seeking to expand.
The opportunities in Guyana are far beyond oil and gas. In 2 years, we'll be able to cut our energy consumption by 50%. Cutting our energy consumption by 50% will now place Guyana in a very, very competitive environment for manufacturing and industrial development. Already, we are marketing Guyana as the premier destination for industrial and manufacturing expansion and development. Now, in order for this to occur, we also have to pay attention to the technical training and skill development of our human resources. That is why we are now developing a state-of-the-art, world-class technical education center in one of the regions of Guyana, an investment of more than $100 million that will not only serve to develop the skill and the skill set that is required for the oil and gas sector, but will also develop the skill set for every other sector. The building of a new hospitality institute in Guyana that would create the opportunity to train more than 6,000 Guyanese.
In international news, Israel has been accused of carrying out collective punishment after it announced a series of strict security measures against Palestinians.
החלטנו על שלילת זכויות בביטוח לאומי ממשפחות תומכות טרור, ובממשלה נדון היום על צעדים נוספים, ביניהם שלילת תעודות זהות ושלילת תושבות ממשפחות מחבלים תומכות טרור. במקביל אנחנו מרחיבים ומזרזים מתן רישוי לנשק לאלפי אזרחים ישראלים, זה כולל גם את שירותי ההצלה.
Demolition of any homes or properties of the protected population, that's the Palestinian population in the occupied Palestinian territories, is against international humanitarian law and could amount to war crimes. There's an exception for absolute military necessity, but the vast majority, in fact, all the cases that we have documented are not military necessity. They are illegal demolitions of homes, and they might amount to forcible displacement, which is also a war crime. there's a wider systematic problem in the occupied Palestinian territories and indeed in Israel that civilians who are Palestinians are systematically discriminated against, and children growing up in these conditions will feel hopeless, they will feel that there is no justice, they will feel isolated and abandoned, and this is where there's a role to the international community where everybody has a duty not to be maintaining apartheid and not to be supporting war crimes such as the illegal settlement project.
In sports, President of the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, Witold Banker, says education is key to a country's successful anti-doping program. He spoke with our news team following a two-day anti-doping forum in Kingston last week.
First of all, I participated in a symposium, educational symposium for the anti-doping practitioners organized by JADCO, so it was a very fruitful meeting. We had a chance to present our adult platform. This is the very innovative tool dedicated to the people from the sporting environment, to educate kids, athletes, support personnel about the education, about the role of education. So it's a very useful tool. We encourage the anti-doping practitioners to use this tool to educate people engaged in sports. So very informative, very good symposium.
During the two-day forum, the WADA boss also met with 14 ministers from across the Caribbean region. He says that increased cooperation between Caribbean nations will be critical to improving the standards of anti-doping policies.
It was a very fruitful meeting, and we want to continue doing it. We want to work very closely with them to encourage them to do more.
Banker also singled out Jamaica through JADCO as the standard bearers in the Caribbean in the fight against doping.
And Jamaica plays a very important role in the region, but of course it's not a mystery that there are some countries from the Caribbean region where the anti-doping policy doesn't look good. I mean, with a very weak anti-doping system or even without anti-doping system. So thanks to the collaboration between WADA, Jamaican authorities, we want to do more for the region, and we want to encourage ministers from the region, from respective countries, to do more in anti-doping area.
The first tennis Grand Slam of the year has been won by a Belarusian player, Aryna Sabalenka. But because of the invasion of Ukraine, she was not technically allowed to represent her country. Al Jazeera's David Stokes explains.
It was a packed house in the Rod Laver Arena, nearly 15,000 fans turning out to see Elena Rybakina against Aryna Sabalenka. Two gladiators competing for the first Grand Slam of the year. It was Rybakina who started strongest. Kazakhstan's star looking for her second major title in 7 months after winning Wimbledon last year. She took the opening set 6-4. It was the first set Sabalenka had dropped in 2023, but she began to settle down in what was her first major final. The fifth seed had won her previous 3 meetings with Rybakina, and she took the second set 6-3 to square things up.
Game end, second set, Sabalenka.
That effectively set up a 1-set shootout for the trophy, and the momentum stayed with Sabalenka.
Game, Sabalenka.
She got the crucial break and soon found herself serving for the match. She failed to convert 3 championship points, but at the 4th time of asking, she finally got over the line.
Game, set match, Sabalenka.
It's the first Grand Slam title for the 24-year-old. Because of Belarus's support of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, she wasn't allowed to officially represent her country in Melbourne, meaning she's the first ever neutral player to win a tennis Grand Slam. It's the first tennis major to offer equal prize money to the men and women. So as well as the trophy, Sabalenka takes home around $2 million.
And once again, thank you guys for an amazing atmosphere. I hope next year I come back stronger, and I'll show you even better tennis, and you guys support me even more.
And that's the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.